Legendary coach Bill Belichick had some high praise for your Kansas City Chiefs earlier today on the Pat McAfee Show. On this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, we'll tell you what the future Hall of Famer had to say with his 3 keys for the Chiefs' success in 2024. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. You're really going to want to hear what Belichick had to say, because when he's not hanging out with 24-year-old women, he is speaking glowingly about Andy Reid and this Chiefs team. We'll go over that in just a moment. Before we do, all week long with the Chiefs set to take on the Chicago Bears, we are in a sub-battle to see who can pick up the most subscribers between our two channels. Harrison Graham, he used to be on this show. Now he's holding things down over at Bears Now. We want to stick it to Harrison Graham and show why we have the best fans of the National Football League. We don't want to just beat the Bears on the football field. We want to beat them off the football field as well. For daily Chiefs updates, news and rumors, live shows, watch parties, and more, you got to be subscribed to the channel. Join the kingdom now, youtube.com/ChiefsTV to subscribe now for free, and we'll get started with today's show. The first point that Belichick made was about Xavier Worthy, and Belichick said that this Kansas City Chiefs team has a lot of high hope for their young receiver, their first-round pick out of the University of Texas. And one of the things he noticed right away was how much the Chiefs have already gotten Xavier Worthy involved in this offense, particularly when you look back to that preseason game against Detroit on Saturday. And according to Belichick, that's really just a sign of things to come when you look at Worthy and his involvement here. Belichick said the following: "It looked to me like they wanted to play Worthy with Mahomes, and Mahomes gave him a bunch of targets, got him on that first wave route and under route. They ran a reverse to him, things like that. It looked like it was, let's get some timing with the receivers, with Rice, Worthy, Kelsey for a little while in there. And then I think that was for the quarterback and the receivers just to get some work in conditions, not just practice. So that was the purpose of it." Belichick added, "Then Andy let the rest of the guys play throughout the game. I thought offensively, it looks like it's just going to be an effort to get the young guys time with Pat, so they're ready to go early against Baltimore, the big opener there." And Bill makes a very good point when he talks about the emphasis of getting Worthy involved here, because think about this. At this point in time, we don't know what week one's going to look like. We don't know if Hollywood Brown is going to be back. That seems unlikely at this point, though. Rashee Rice very well could be suspended before the season begins, and so that leaves the Chiefs right away turning to their star rookie receiver to play a heavy part in this offense. And I think Belichick's onto something when he says, look, they're getting to Xavier Worthy early. They want him to be involved. And the numbers back it up. As you can see, what Belichick was talking about last week against the Lions, 3 catches, 6 targets in a short time frame, might I add, with 62 yards and a touchdown. Watch out for more Xavier Worthy in this Chiefs offense right away to be an immediate impact player. Do you believe in Xavier Worthy? I'm all in. What about you? Weigh in the comments section. Let us know in our pinned comment today. Type B for believe, D for don't. Let us know what you think. Number 2, the next thing that Belichick pointed to when it comes to this Kansas City Chiefs team is he says that this group needs to improve when it comes to run defense and creating turnovers, comparably speaking to what they were in 2023. Belichick saying this on the Pat McAfee Show. "I think the bigger issues are going to be on defense. You know, they couldn't turn the ball over. They played very well in the playoffs. That's where it counts. That's the most important thing. But overall as a team, run defense, turnovers, you know, that's an area they're going to want to improve in. I just think that it's going to be tough this year. They're a good team, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that." Now, let's break this down into 2 parts. Let's start with the run defense thing that Belichick is talking about here. And for me, Belichick, he's on to something here, but I still think it's a little bit nitpicky. And here's what I mean by that, folks. You look at the statistics of what the Chiefs did. Let's just go over these one by one. Opponent rush play percentage was 11th in the league, 40.92%. Opponent yards per rush, 4.4. That was 24th in the NFL. Opponent rushes per game, 25.5. That was 11th most in the NFL. Opponent rushing yards per game, 113. That was 16th. And opponent rushing touchdowns per game was 4th. And with that, with the run defense, staying there for a second here, folks, think about this. Last year, they did give up too many yards. I think we can agree to that. But at the end of the day, as you can see with that final statistic there, they did a good job of keeping teams out of the end zone. So although they were getting gashed in run defense at times, they still, when it came put up or shut up time with that run defense, made plays at the goal line and in the red zone there. So Belichick, he's not wrong, but I don't think maybe it's as bad as he would let on. But that's also a sign of how good this Chiefs team is when we have to be a little nitpicky. Now, the other point that Belichick talked about, creating turnovers. That is going to be a big key, and Belichick is 100% spot on about that. That was an issue for this Chiefs defense last year, is that as good as they were, they struggled to create turnovers throughout the season, and everybody knows that. We've heard Nick Bolton talk about it, saying that that's a point of emphasis. We've heard Spags talk about it and say, hey, we're really trying to improve that this year, that we want to do a better job at creating turnovers. And you look at the numbers last year, opponent turnover margin per game, plus 0.4, that was 25th best in the league. Takeaways per game, 1.1, that was 23rd. Giveaways per game, 1.5, that was 24th. And opponent interceptions thrown, 1.41%, that was 29th. They've got work to do, but I don't think it's something they can't overcome, though. I think that you'll see that turnover margin jump up quite a bit. And you think about how good this offense is. Giving Mahomes and company an extra possession or two, potentially, that is going to go a long ways. You talk about this team winning a lot of games like we expect, right? We think it's going to be 12, 13-plus wins at the very least. And then those one-possession games all of a sudden become two-possession games, become three-possession games. That's a game changer with those extra possessions if the Chiefs defense can create those. One more point from Belichick we'll get to here in a moment, but first, let's ask you, what's the biggest key to success for the Chiefs this season? You've seen a couple from Belichick. He's got one more. What do you guys think? Weigh in the comment section and let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to go for last-minute tickets. The best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace in Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Save up to 60% off buying last-minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Here's how it works. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. From there, you select your seat. See if you like that seat or not. Get the visual. And just like that, you're checking out with Game Time. You can get tickets, including to this Thursday's matchup against the Bears, right there on Game Time. Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Maybe you want to go to a Royals game, Sporting KC, all sorts of different options to choose from. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. The last thing that Belichick mentioned was managing this schedule that the Chiefs have ahead of them here in 2024. And this team is going to be tested a lot through the year. This schedule does the Chiefs no favors by any means, even though they're playing in the AFC West and are clearly the best team by a lot in this division. Belichick said this: I just think for this third year, for it to all fall into place, 3 years in a row is tough. But if anyone can do it, it's Kansas City. It won't be easy. It won't be easy. I'm not sure how tough the AFC West is going to be, but they're going to have some tough opponents through the course of the season and the playoffs. Andy will have them ready to go. I think they'll maybe score more than they did last year. We'll see if they can hold up defensively. They lost a couple coverage players. Obviously, Sneed. We'll see how that comes together. If the defense comes together quickly in replacing L'Jarius Sneed, then everything else is going to fall into place. Because this looks like a complete team, right? From the quarterback to the skill positions, the offensive line, with Creed, of course, leading the way. We know about the defensive line with Chris Jones, and the linebacker room solid. That secondary is kind of the biggest question mark entering 2024. And Belichick's right. If that group comes together, watch out. And we should know pretty quickly when you open up with the Baltimore Ravens, who have a dynamic offense, with a receiving core that includes the likes of Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and company. Then you play the Bengals the next week, and you talk about a test there, seeing Jamar Chase and those receivers there in Cincinnati, with Joe Burrow, of course, slinging it around. The Falcons, they got some weapons in their own right. When you talk Drake London and Kyle Pitts, you got the Niners there in mid-October, of course, with McCaffrey and Kittle and Ayuk and Debo there. And then you get to the home stretch when you're talking about playing at the Bills on the road in November. Then you got the Browns, of course, there in December. And then down the stretch, taking on teams like the Texans with their weapons, with Tank Dell, with Stephon Diggs, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to figure out pretty quickly when it comes to this group of where they're at, and I think it's a good sign. I feel pretty optimistic here. If that's the one thing you can point to as well, the secondary potentially needs some work. To me, this is as complete of a team that we've seen from Kansas City in quite some time, maybe ever in the Mahomes era at this point. What will the Chiefs' record be for 2024? Belichick didn't put a record on it, but he said they have a great chance to three-peat. He was all in on this Kansas City Chiefs team. What do you guys think? Weigh in the comments section. Let us know. For continuing Kansas City Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Chiefs Report. We'll be live on Thursday night for the Chiefs matchup against the Bears. We'll see you then. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.